Hey, Crusaders. So today we're going to do a virtual field trip to Israel. And here I have it pulled up on Google Maps so you can see where the country is. If we move me, we can zoom out and get a better idea of what it's around. It's kind of near Turkey, which we visited in our lessons last week. And we also visited Spain. You can see that's way over here. So today's Israel, there's Turkey, there's Spain, and hopefully you were able to look at those lessons over the last couple weeks. Um, this one today I really liked because it's all about how hiking can be inclusive for people with disabilities. So I know that's a topic that is really important to me, and I wanted to show you some cool videos I found specifically pertaining to some things to do with Israel. So, first, we're going to talk to Guy. He invented a device that helps people with disabilities or people in wheelchairs to trek or hike places that you really can't normally go in a wheelchair. And that device is called a trekker, and it's made by a company called Paratrek. And the speaker is going to be speaking in a different language. So I'm going to kind of turn down the volume and read the subtitles while he's talking. But we'll look at that video first.
Shalom.
Shalom means hello. Let me turn that down just a little bit so I can read the subtitles. Okay. Hello, my name is Omer Zer, and my story begins in the Yom Kippur War when my father's tank was hit by a missile. He flew out, landed on his face, and broke his neck, and since then he is wheelchair bound. 35 years later, he and I, with some friends, went together on a special post-military trip. The trip was amazing, integrating experience. Following this trip, we decided to establish Paratrack to enable people with and without disabilities to meet and hike together. In Paratrack, we believe that the best way to include is through education, and the best way to educate is through nature, through the outdoors, through encounters. Today, we take groups of people with and without disabilities out to many places many of them have never dreamed they could achieve. We climb mountains, cliffs. We get to physical and emotional summits that are beyond imagination. The sense of achievement, the connections made, and above all, the smiles on the group members' faces coming back, these are the reasons that makes us continue doing what we do. This is very cool. And hopefully in that video, you could see the device that he created. Here is another video that shows a similar device being used to hike a trail. And this one I feel like is a very powerful video. It's very moving to see the people that come together to make sure that their friend can hike the same places they can hike. Hiking requires full mobility.
Yeah, a bit more, a little bit more. How you doing, Eric? Good. All right.
Or maybe not.
Got a feeling and I'm gonna feel it out. It got me shaking up and moving around. From the birches to the blacktop. You want it all, you want it all. Give me all of it. You don't stop, don't quit. No, not a little bit. Give me all of it. You don't stop, don't quit. No, not a little bit. Give me all of it. Give me all of it. Give me all of it. Give me all of it.
So it's a pretty cool video showing how a group of people came together to help their friend who is not able to hike on their own get up to the top of that summit and see that awesome view. I have another couple videos to share with you that's very similar, and that it talks about inclusivity and especially pertaining to Israel. And then at the end, we're going to do a real small virtual hike at the Israel National Trail. And that is the place where I think if we could actually travel to Israel, that's the trail I'd really like to go on with you. So let's start though here with this video of basically how the Paratrek company using the Trekker made the news in Israel and what that news anchor had to say about the device.
These young adults, who are part of Meitarim Lachish, an Israeli pre-army program, are hiking around 37 miles to Jerusalem. But as they walk through the wilderness, they're doing something much greater. As participants walk here, the event is part of an initiative that aims to integrate those with disabilities. 21-year-old Roy Al-Nest, a member of the group, is developmentally delayed, which makes it harder to walk. But thanks to help from his friends and a specialized wheelchair called a tracker, he's getting a heartwarming experience.
I have fun with the guys here. This is my first time going to Jerusalem. I feel as part of the group. I feel love, and I feel good.
For these participants, the long journey isn't always easy, but it's one that's worth it.
Without this chair, Roy cannot travel with us. So I and my friends are very happy to do this.
Roy is part of the organization, and we really want him to feel welcome.
The hike was made possible thanks to JNF UK and Meitarim Lachish partnering together.
Every person is unique, and everyone has his own abilities and disabilities, and we can learn from each other, and everyone should be a part of this country's success story.
And while all three of the pre-army program's campuses bring together participants with and without disabilities, the goal is to do that even more through providing a space for more disabled people.
We want to build a campus that will be fit for people with disability.
But for now, everyone here is gaining something special.
Also, people without disability, they get present because they learn about how to manage together.
Togetherness, the gift that just keeps giving. Erica Jackson.
Right. So that was a really cool video showing how even people in programs that are younger people are able to integrate with their peers and go on some pretty awesome hikes. The next video is about how Israel itself is really doing a good job about advocating for people with disabilities. And we'll watch this one. It's only a minute long. And then we'll watch our virtual hike, which is about a couple minutes long together. So I'll read this one while it's playing because I think that it plays music in the background, but it has a lot of words that pop up. So I'll read those to you. Israel is home to 1.6 million people with disabilities who are an integral part of Israeli society. In November, the Israel MFA hosted a run, basically, which took place in Jerusalem and shared Israel's message of inclusivity and acceptance. The race was held in partnership with Shalva, an organization which provides transformative care for those with disabilities and their families. 450 participants, including foreign diplomats and journalists, celebrated Israel's special needs community. As a member of the UN Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, Israel will continue to advocate for those with disabilities. On this International Day of Persons with Disabilities, which is December 3rd, by the way, Israel is proud to stand with the special needs community and is committed to creating a more equal and tolerant world. So I learned from that video that the International Day of People with Disabilities is December 3rd. That's pretty cool. I'm not sure when you're watching this video, but I'm recording it on December 2nd. So it's kind of cool that tomorrow is that day. And then let's do our virtual hike together and we'll wrap up our little talk about Israel.
the Israel National Trail is one of the most beautiful trails in the world, I think. I've done a lot of trails before, but this one is very unique, very special. You can walk through the desert and you find beautiful places.
So the Israeli National Trail offers you a way to see the real country and not just see the places that everyone sees. Some days you're by the water, some days you're in the woods, some days you're in the desert. You meet people along the way and everyone's really friendly, and they're local people that are willing to help you out, and it's just a small country, but it has a lot to offer.
I'm hiking the trail with Walk About Love, which is a group that bring people from outside of Israel and Israelis to walk the country. People coming from Europe, from America. A lot of Israelis suddenly see their country from the eyes of a tourist. And every night there's a bonfire with music and singing and jamming and stories and sharing. It's a way that connects the people. Everyone who's done it feels this connection. So if you want to get to know Israel and yourself in that way, in that deep way, then do the Israel National Trail.
Some really beautiful stuff in that video. That would be awesome to see in person. All right, well, that's the end of our little study on Israel for now. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, I can't wait to see you guys next week. Bye, Crusaders.